Happy and blessed day, dear friends. Today is Saturday, October 11, 2025. The verse that struck me from the light of day is taken from the Gospel of Luke 11, 27, 28. At the time, while Jesus was speaking, a woman in the crowd raised her voice and said to him, "Blessed is the womb that bore you and the breast that nursed you." But he said, "Reader, blessed are those who hear the word of God and keep it." When a person distances himself from God's will, he is unaware of something extremely important. His choice also affects those he meets along the way, unaware that what happens to others is not his responsibility in the slightest, falling into the deep abysses where the darkness of shadows leads him into an almost surreal, dormant state where nothing seems to touch him, as if he were extraneous to the pain of others. Running against God's absolute good is like waiting to tell him, putting his mercy to the test. The problem with those who refuse to walk in God's goodness, and therefore refuse to do His will, to follow His precious and vital teachings, which help everyone live and peace with themselves, with others, and with each other, is that they fail to realize that He loves mercy, made up of goodness, charity, and love, works by fighting in other ways to save any lost person, without, however, hindering their free will to choose to good, which He has abundantly bestowed upon them, and which, unfortunately, they have not understood in its grandeur. Because if we come to internalize that no one was our lives for himself, but is created by God to live in relationship with others, every action, thought, and word unequivocally has an impact on others. This will give full meaning to our own life and its significance. No one lives for himself. It's not true. It's not logical. It was never God's plan. Genesis 2:18. It is not good for the man to be alone. When we distance ourselves from God, He will then repeatedly allow evil, which, I remind you, is the antithesis of God's goodness, which has no trace of it, to intrude into the lives of those around us, and which will intrude most forcefully upon the last and those it encounters. Free will is your, mine, and our responsibility, not to be blamed on God. God can do anything, even the impossible, but He cannot interfere with our free will, for that will mean not loving us completely. It is truly essential to understand and assimilate the value of the enormous power given to us by the Lord with free will, which is essential to use consciously and be responsible for. If it is used to distance ourselves from God, we open the door to evil, which increases lying after the people we meet or are close to, and even more so, the fragile and defenseless. So, how do we choose according to God's will? His beloved Son, Jesus, also teaches us this. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. God bless you greatly. See you soon.